We now go on to the track, and this time it has been declared a wet race meeting here for the BNL Karting Series opening round. This time it is DD2 Masters, and here is your grid for the pre-final on day 2. So on pole position will be Tom Dessert and then Bruno Dos Santos on the front row. James Beecroft and Carl Clibort representing Great Britain and Belgium will line up on row 2. Then it is a double German delight on row number 3 with Michael Becker and Dimitri Ostrovsky. Then it is 2 French nationality drivers in the form of Christophe Adams and Rudy Champion in the 555 and the 544, with the former being a 2-time race winner yesterday through the pre-final and the final. Tamsin Germain from Great Britain and Ian Gepps from Belgium round out the top 10 drivers. As they go on to their formation lap, the lineup is completed by Germany's Andreas Schindler, Germany's Konrad Bayer, Belgium's Bart Koolman, then it's Roland Kinch from Great Britain, Jim Ringelberg from the Netherlands, Tanju Yildiz and Ronald Billings from Great Britain, rounding out the 17 strong. So there was a flurry of activity just off of the servicing park onto the pre-grid, where the drivers have had to change to wet tyres. So now it will be down to Dessert and Dos Santos. This time, another change in proceedings changes the dynamic of this race weekend here at Karting Genk. So Dessert, Dos Santos, Beecroft, Clibort, Becker, Ostrovsky, Adams, Champion, Germain and Gepps. Gepps, that is your lineup on the top 10. 17 drivers, 13 minutes plus an additional lap. The red lights are on the starting gantry, ignited for all to see. They come out of the final corner into the tram lines. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where things really change as we do go lights out and off and away. And a bit of a slow start for Dimitri Ostrovsky off of the start, and Christophe Adams tries to go up the inside of the German. Manages not to get through at the moment, or does he, as Ostrovsky goes to the runoff area? 3 other drivers do. Oh, there's been a turnaround. Oh, and there's been an absolute wallop going through into, and that is a front bumper that is off. And the driver that has now gone out of the race, that is, now I noticed, I think that was a 572. That might have been Tanju Yildiz that was unsighted there, as one of the drivers went spinning and went 90 degrees to the left-hand side. I've got a feeling, is that Tom Dessert that has gone before we've even gotten started? But if he has, he's at the back end of the field. And that is the 572 of Tanju Yildiz, helmet in his hands. Oh, that's a real shame. But now at the moment, James Beecroft leads the field. And in second position, it is Michael Becker, who's jumped up the order from P5 up into P2. Bruno Dos Santos, Carl Clibort, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Rudy Champion, Ian Gepps, Andreas Schindler, Christophe Adams and Tamsin Germain now complete the top 10. And the front bumper of Tanju Yildiz's kart is being brought along. He was absolutely unsighted and could not get through as Tom Dessert gets past what is Roland, I think has got past Roland Kinch, as Andreas Schindler makes a move up the order. Looks to be Ian Gepps that he's got past, as Christophe Adams trying to get past the driver in front, as Tamsin Germain looks up the inside of the 555. So 11 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. James Beecroft being hunted down by Germany's Michael Becker for the lead of the race, heading into turns 1 and 2. Dos Santos being chased by Carl Clibort, who's got a very nondescript stealth black front bumper on his kart. He's being chased by PKS Competition's Rudy Champion from France. Gepps in 6th. Schindler Adams, Ostrovsky, Germain. That is the top 10 at the moment. Tom Dessert gets past Ronald Billings as Roland Kinch is also out of the race on the very first lap. 10.5 minutes to go. Beecroft now in a position where he can gain a victory. Christoph Adams a little bit further down the order than he would like at the moment, down in 8th place. As up the inside of Carl Klebot goes Rudy Champion. Up the inside of Tamsin Germain goes Bart, I think that was Bart Koeman, or was that a change through Dmitry Ostrovsky? At the front of the field, Bruno Dos Santos is closing on the top two. Becker goes for the lead, slipstreaming down into turn 1. Beecroft shuts the door initially, but Becker can get through. Beecroft trying to look up the inside through turn 3. Dos Santos with them. So does Germany versus Great Britain and France. Rudy Champion will quickly factor into this. Carl Klebot was passed last time around by Rudy Champion. Down into 5th goes De Backer. Ian Gepps and Christoph Adams now round out the top 7. Andreas Schindler, Tamsin Germain, and now Dmitry Ostrovsky gets the 10th position. As now Becker hits the front. And when they cross the start-finish line, as there's a move, there was a potential move there by Carl Klebot on Rudy Champion. Well, not for Rudy Champion. Carl Klebot has dropped again. And I think just behind he's got Christoph Adams. Now these two were battling for the title last year, and it went to De Backer, who did a massive winning streak, which came undone at the final weekend of the season as Christoph Adams battling away with Andreas Schindler. Tamsin Germain from Great Britain just behind in 9th position. Ostrovsky is about half a second off of this battle, but gap now truncated. Tamsin Germain looks up the inside of Andreas Schindler through turn 6. The Brit makes the move, gets side by side. The German runs a little bit wide coming out of the corner. And this will allow Ostrovsky to also get through into T7. But Becker and Beecroft starting to pull away a little bit from Bruno Dos Santos. The gap was about 1/10.5 last time around. 8 minutes and 28 seconds still remaining, plus an additional lap. And at the moment, the fastest lap of anybody is the driver down in 8th position now, and then it's Tamsin Germain. That was briefly for the quickest of margins. She put in a 55.053, got past Andreas Schindler for 8th position, and now has 0.6 of a second to make up to catch up to Christoph Adams just up the road in 7th position. But then James Beecroft in 2nd position now goes quickest and is the closest one by 4/1000ths of a second to get close to a sub 55 second lap time. Is up the inside. That looks like Jim Ringelberg up the inside of Bart Koeman through into turn number 7. Beecroft soaring all over the back bumper of Becker. Champion's got past Bruno Dos Santos, who gets to drop down to P3. As Adams gets up the inside of Carl Klebot, and here comes Tamsin Germain. These three were battling for the title last season. So De Backer gets past the most decorated in terms of appearances driver for the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals as Becker gets pounced on by Beecroft. Champion waiting in the wings. Through turn 2, into 3. Line astern between the top 3. Bruno Dos Santos trying to latch onto the back bumper of this top 3 skirmish. However, Gep's still waiting there too, as Becker trying to power past Champion, who got the initial advantage. Through into turn 7, Becker gets past for 2nd position. And now Tamsin Germain looks to be the one of 3 drivers that have gone sub 55 seconds. Germain has been in a 54.883 and trying to go up the inside of Carl Klebot. Can't get through that gap. That was a bit too tight and it was getting closed by the 2nd. Through into turn 10 on Carl Klebot. As Adams trying to get past Ian Getz for 5th place. Not at the moment, he won't. As up the inside of Michael Becker goes Rudy Champion, the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup champion of 2020 from PKS Competition, now up into 2nd. Now the Frenchman will start trying to hunt down James Beecroft, and as you can see over the far side of the circuit, there are spots of rain on the camera lens. And according to an application I have on my phone, it says that there is a potential 40% chance of rain, but I will only believe it when I see it. And we have had a little bit of a downpour. Whether that gets a bit more gets more intense as the day goes on. Is your guess as good as mine? But always a bit of rain spices up the racing action here in the BNL Karting Series. Tamsin Germain still trying to close and goes up the inside, sends it nicely, cleanly through on Cole Clibbott, the defending champion in this class. Up into P7 goes the Brit. Christoph Adams is now about 1/10 of a second behind Ian Getz, or has he got past? He has got past. So Christoph Adams in the 555, up into P5 at the moment, as they make their way down the back straight away. Top 8, maybe make that the top 14 drivers have made their way through. We've got 2 retirements, unfortunately. We're down to 15 drivers. Tanu Yildiz and Roland Kinch now out of the race as Rudy Champion now sizing up James Beecroft, and he's now gesticulating to James Beecroft as if to say, come on man, what are you doing? But Beecroft, if he's got the racing line, he's got the perfect opportunity to keep Champion at bay. This is going to allow everyone battling behind, and this is now a side-by-side battle. Champion goes towards the outside, throws it up the inside of Beecroft into turn 2, gets the move done. Becker trying towards the outside, going into turn 3, can't get through, goes a bit sideways through turn 3. Bruno Dos Santos, Christoph Adams, Ian Getz now being closed on by Tamsin Germain, who's getting closer towards the inside of the driver from Belgium up into turn 6, now down to turn 7. Germain tries to go look towards the inside but can't get through, was not close enough as Tobacco closes on the 525 from Great Britain. 4 minutes still to go, plus an additional lap. Champion now hits the front of the field. Beecroft, Becker, Dos Santos, Adams waiting in the wings. Becker up the inside of Beecroft through turn 10. And that's for second position. And now Beecroft returns the favour through turn 12, a quick switchback. And then here comes Bruno Dos Santos from France. Up the inside of Beecroft, heading into turn 2. Looks like he's going to make the move. No, he doesn't. Beecroft recounters. Oh my goodness, and Adams nearly gets clattered into there. Tobacco, Carl Clibbott trying to get past Tamsin Germain, who's in turn trying to get past Ian Getz. This is getting really, really close and personal in the latter stages. 3 minutes and 21 plus an additional lap. A little bit of a run wide from Bruno Dos Santos. Christoph Adams closing on the back bumper through into turn 7. Followed by Ian Getz from Belgium. Tamsin Germain, Carl Clibbott. Now, keep your eyes on the likes of Andreas Schindler as up the inside. I'm seeing that Tom Dessert is trying to fight with Jim Ringelberg, and that is allowing Andreas Schindler to get into that fight. And it is getting closer and closer still. Now, this is what you want in terms of there's a move up the inside, and that was on. I think Bruno Dos Santos has just lost a few places as a result of that. He's dropped to 7th. So Germain has got past, Getz has got past, Christoph Adams and James Beecroft now up all the position. Rudy Champion battling away with Michael Becker and has dropped the German by about 4.5 tenths of a second. James Beecroft in 3rd. Christoph Adams in 4th. Ian Getz being pressurised by Tamsin Germain going through turn 6. Bruno Dos Santos past Carl Clibbott, 4th position. That's P7 on the road. Jim Ringelberg from the Netherlands rounding out the top 9. Just over 2 minutes to go, and it is anyone's guess what is going to happen from second position onwards, because Rudy Champion has got a 4.5 tenths of a second advantage. Oh, up the inside goes Ringelberg on Carl Clibbott, forces the 510 wide through turn 10, as then Beecroft sends it up the inside of Becker through into turn 12. Becker trying to get the switch back, and Christoph Adams slingshots right past the German. No, I did not see what finger was pointed up by Christoph Adams, but that was definitely a sign of some description. So Christoph Adams just absolutely floored it past him. Becker tried to do the cutback on Beecroft again through turn 12, and then Adams was just waiting in the wings and just powered past like Becker was standing still. 1 minute and 15 plus an additional lap. Lead now between first and second. That's Rudy Champion from France and James Beecroft from Great Britain. Gap was last time around 9 tenths of a second. As Tamsin Germain goes up the inside, and that is on, I think that's Jim Ringelberg. So Tamsin Germain up into P6 now. Has got Bruno Dos Santos, I think just up ahead. which is the case. So Tamsin Germain rounds out the top 6. Ringelberg in 7th. Carl Klibort being chased by Tom Dessert, who had that early clash, which took, unfortunately, we had Tanja Yildiz and Roland Kinch eliminated on the very first lap. Dessert now past Schindler in 10th position. Ostrowski from Germany, followed by Kuhlmann, Bayer, Billings, and now Ian Gepts has now dropped all the way down to 15th and might even be out of the race at this particular moment in time. 21 seconds left on the clock. Rudy Champion started from 8th position and is now leading the pre-final. Christoph Adams is fast running out of time. If he wants to make it 3 in a row, he's got to do something. Time will pretty much have expired as they come out of turn 12. Last lap board is shown. 13 minutes on the timer have expired. Rudy Champion now has one more lap to keep at bay the likes of James Beecroft, who's being hunted down by Christoph Adams. Michael Becker 4th, Bruno Dos Santos, Tamsin Germain, Jim Hingelberg, Ronald Billing. Well, it looks like Ian Gepps has actually parked it after 12 laps. A real shame for the Belgian, which then means that we will have 14 hopefully finishing this race very, very shortly. On to the final lap we have gone. As the lead is now, Christoph Adams looking up the inside of James Beecroft through turn 7. The 555 gets through. And he's just thought, well, actually, I don't necessarily, it would be nice to have a third win, but this really cements his place at the top of the intermediate standings post this race as they now come round towards turn number 12. Checker flag is being brandished and Rudy Champion fist pumps the air with the right hand to take the win. Christoph Adams in 2nd. James Beecroft, Michael Becker, Bruno Dos Santos and Tamsin Germain ran out the top 6 positions. Jim Hingelberg, who started down in 15th position, finished in 7th. Carl Klibort, who started down up in 4th position, finishes 8th. Tom Dessert, who was on pole position, ended up at the back part of the field and recovered to finish in 9th position. Dmitry Ostrovsky takes 10th place ahead of Andreas Schindler and another German in the form of Konrad Bayer in the 508 from RS Competition. Bart Koeman and Ronald Billings from Belgium and Great Britain respectively are the last of the 14 classified finishers, with retirements on lap 12 from Ian Gepts and Tanja Yildiz and Roland Kinch not even making it to the end of the first lap of the race.